You got 3 levels. So the first level is what it was.
And it's just this ups and downs. And eventually you're like, fuck it. I'm going to go work at a bank. When you become one of the top 100 in your market or top 10%, you've got to leverage people, processes, and time. You have to leverage that or you will not go over a certain amount of deals.
Please don't start a team. Please, dear Jesus, baby in a manger, don't start a team. Build a business. And what a business is...
Oh, hey, they're here.
What's up?
Well, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. You're really going to like what you're going to watch.
Yeah.
If you haven't liked it yet, you should really hit that like, subscribe button.
Like, subscribe. We're going to get on talk, and you should probably do it with us.
And if not, we're going to get all in your inbox.
Let's go.
All right, Wayne. So we're getting in the middle of like uncomfortable season for real estate agents, right? Like
Yes.
It's getting into the late fall, early winter, whatever season. I don't know. It's getting cold out. Okay. Maybe not in Texas. It may still be like swimsuit weather.
It is.
It's a cold 60 something degrees here today, but like you can see it happening. You see agents jumping ship. You see people getting out. They're not renewing their realtor license and all this. And I've been researching this, right? So I got a real estate company. I know you coach a bunch of team leads and a bunch of company owners and stuff. And it's the dreaded 4-letter word, recruiting, right? Like, isn't that 4 letters? No.
I did not know where you were headed, but sure, let's go with recruiting. Yes.
Southern math. So I think you and I have put together like some blueprints, if you will. And I'm by no means a recruiter skill set by any means. Like that is not what I grew up to do. I'm always one of those guys like they should call me, like that kind of stuff. But I've been learning that you got to introduce your awesomeness to people.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think it's an inviting game, right? Like there's multiple aspects to it, but it's like in real estate, it's leads, listings, leverage, and in brokerages, it's agents. Right. It's recruiting, training, retention in a lot of ways, right? It's like you want to get them, then you want to make sure they're doing the right stuff, and then you want to keep them, which sounds like it should be easy. And yet it is not always easy, especially when they're struggling or they tell themselves that they need something new or different or whatever it is. And I mean, you see it happen, you see them make moves and you go, why'd you do that? And they don't even know why sometimes.
Yeah. And I'm coming out of a different spot, right? Like I'm not a company that's just based on sheer number of agents and there's business models for it. And I totally understand it, not knocking it. That's not it. I'm actually, and I'd love your opinion on this. I'm recruiting because my agents are maxed out. I mean, like there's some that can still do some work, but like they've got a good thriving business and we're bringing in business. We have referrals and leads and everything in between. And so I'm trying to find good agents that want to come and do some work, but they think I'm trying to fool with them. So here's what I've kind of narrowed down. You tell me if you think I'm wrong on this, but what I've narrowed down is,
wait.
Yeah, brand new agents, right? Brand new. Or let's say less than 2 million. And depending on what that is, let's do transaction count because that's different. Less than 10 a year, if you will. Here's what I've been told and here's what I believe. Leads, training, support. In that order is what they want.
Yeah. Yeah. Because let's break this down. Let's go through the 3 levels, right? You got 3 levels. So the first level is what it was right. Agents, either they're new or they're doing, what did you say, 0 to 12 deals a year, something in that range?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And then let's kick we'll call it the messy middle, right? The 12 to 24 deals. I think can we agree to that?
Yeah.
And these are not teams. These are just agents, right? They could be on teams, but like you were talking about earlier, like they need consistency.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I think that the newer agents, and this is great to figure out kind of who are you going after, and then you need to make sure you're delivering it, but also like what do you need to offer to each level? And it's not always what they say, right? So I think it's important to understand what they're saying behind what they're saying. I think that's what you're getting at. And if you can understand and deliver on that, then you're in a good place, right? But here's, and I think this does apply to teams at some level, but agents will come to you, new agents will come to you because they want training, right? They want some support, but they want knowledge, right? Which is great. And you better be able to deliver on that, which I know you guys are phenomenal at, but like, can I deliver on that? But then here's what happens. Team leaders and brokerages get pissed because then they leave, right? It's like, I taught them how to do the thing, right? They get good at the thing and then they leave me. And it's like, well, what the hell? I put all the stuff into them, but they're going to leave you if you can't go to number 2. And level 2 is, right? So now they're proficient at the job. They kind of know what they're doing. They're making a little bit of money. They have a little bit of support. First off, they don't really value the support sometimes unless you've helped them understand it. But then what they want next is they want consistency.
Yeah.
So they want consistency. They want some stability. They want some predictability. At least that's what I've seen. Would you? Well, agree?
No, because I think that messy middle is what gets most good agents out. Because you're in it long enough. Like let's use my spouse for example. I'm in it long enough that like I'm paying the bills. And then I have a really good March and I have a horrible April, May. And so she's like, we got to pay that mortgage in May. And you're like, well, I had a really good March. And it just breeds this turmoil. And then you think you're lesser than because you're not providing as a spouse, not just a man, but a spouse. And it's just this ups and downs. And eventually you're like, fuck it. I'm going to go work at a bank. Like, that's what I feel like. So I feel like the messy middle is where you're exactly right, where you lose those people.
So how do you help your agents in the messy middle?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And so there's a couple of ways that I think are very, very important is while it goes back to the new agent model, while they're becoming and learning agents and doing business and leads like they want, we're teaching them how to go source said business from their own sphere. Or if they don't have a sphere, how to create one or how to join one or how to make one if you're not from the market. That's part of it. You're almost like running two horses. So like you got the slow horse you're eating on is cool. Like you want that thoroughbred, but it's just not ready yet. It's too young, but you're going to keep maturing and keep nurturing it to get going. And then you've got to kind of lead by example and start giving them the things that'll help them get over the plateaus. They get the, I think I made it itis in the messy middle. They think they know what they're doing already, but they actually haven't seen several markets yet. Usually that messy middle, you're probably there, your third or fourth year, you're probably doing 24 deals. So, I mean, you think you know it all, and all of a sudden, guess what? Interest rates drop, hike, whatever it is, and you actually don't know. So I think what you got to do with those people is help them set out a structure that is almost impenetrable to market conditions.
Yes. So you've helped them if they're doing 10 to 15, whatever it is, you've helped them come up with the first funnel of business, which is like, I do this thing, I get business. When that could be open houses, that could be calling expireds, that could be, whatever the thing is, right? It's something they do this thing and then they get some business. But the second thing you got to do with as a leader, and I know you're great at this because you do your quarterly planning, you do your year end big planning, things like that, where you're helping people really dial in. Do you have your second funnel of business, which is for most of us, it's our sphere of influence, it's our database. But like your database packet worksheet is freaking amazing, right? But it teaches them, how do I build this thing in a consistent way that's going to pay off? So making your agents build their database, their sphere of influence plan, and then implement it with some of the help of the company and everything else makes a lot of sense. But you've got to force them to do that. So if they're level 1 and you want to keep them through level 2, get them to really own their database, have a consistent plan around it. And then like what you do, Brad, is you offer some of the things that help facilitate that with their database, some of the events and things like it's like, you don't need to plan it, just invite your people. So that's one of the ways you're continuing to add value, but also kind of integrate them into what you're doing.
Yeah, and I think for people that are listening, I'd love for y'all to leave a comment or drop a note and let us know so we can like kind of answer these questions. But I think the messy middle that are transferring companies, if I had to guess, 99% of y'all do not have either a database or a database that's easily searchable with all of the contact information. Now, I want to be very clear with people because as soon as you say sphere of influence, they're thinking they've got to call everybody in that list every month and ask if they want to buy or sell a house. That's not it. But how are you going to have a market to market to if you don't know who they are? And so I went to this the other day because I've got some transfer agents into my company and their database isn't quite there. So I've made a template. Like if you have a closing, what tags do you want to have on your clients? If they're under contract, what do you want to have? Like, what do you want to know about them? Do you want to know about what events? And all this just, I know people's eyes are rolling right now, but it's the data is our currency now. Right? I mean, yes, correct. Relationships are, but we're equating it to data. So I think people need to have a templated aspect of their database to really make sure they're getting every single referral they can out of it.
And I think each one, and I would be interested to see your thing on this, but I think, and I love everyone's take on this, I believe that if they're in level 2, you should be able to look at them with confidence and go like, hey, you're going to do 50 deals this year by following this plan. Like, I just want you to know every January 1st, you're going to wake up and go, boom, I'm doing 50 deals this year because I'm just following the thing that we're doing. I'm going to invite them to these 3 events. We're going to do these things. Like you should coach them and work with them to the point where they gain certainty, right? They get clear, which gives them confidence and encourage them to go do the thing. So if you can look at everyone at your agents and go, hey, you're going to do 50 deals a year because you're going to follow this plan, man, that's.
Yeah. And it's repetition. Right? You got to have a plan. And I know people don't like to hear that because you got to have a plan so you can execute. So that way, you're making progress while your whirlwind of an actual business of closings and contracts is going on. And if you don't have that, your whole life's a whirlwind. And if you're in the messy middle right now, you are a whirlwind. And I don't mean that disrespect.
No, but that's the biggest opportunity for like the team leader, the broker, right? The whatever you want to call it, the lead agent. Like that's a huge opportunity to go do with them. So you bring them in, you train them, right? You give them a little bit of support, then you get them dialed in on consistency, right, and predictability in their business, their cash flow, their database, etc. Then they're still going to leave you. And here's what they're going to leave you for. Here's the third thing they're going to leave you for, right? Because the third thing they want, right after they go through level 1 through level 2. The third thing they're going to leave you for is freedom, right? They're going to go somewhere where somebody goes, I'm going to help you. Now you're making your consistent 150, 200, $300,000 a year. Now what they desire is freedom, right? So like they want to now not be change their business 7 days a week.
Yep. Yeah. And I think that's a hard one that people either they're control freaks and they won't let go. Right. And if you want to grow past let's use the 24 deal number, but like whatever that is in your market, people that are listening before you send me hater mail, but like when you become like one of the top 100 in your market or top 10%, you've got to leverage people, processes, and time. You have to leverage that or you will not go over a certain amount of deals. Yes, there are people that'll do 100 deals by themselves. And guess what? They're batshit crazy. Their home life sucks and they hadn't gotten laid in probably 6 months. So those are big things. I mean,
you don't need to coach your agent that's doing 30, 60 deals, whatever, 100 deals a year. You do not need to coach them on working harder.
Correct. Yep.
Right. Like they're working hard. They're doing all the things, but you better come in and teach them. You got to teach them things like leverage. How do you delegate well? You better sit down with them and go like, hey, what's the life you want to live a year from now, 3 years now? What does your org chart need to look like to get there? You need to coach them on passive income. Hey, here's how we're going to help you buy an investment property a year to have some residual income coming in. Because guess what? You're going to have a bad month. It's going to be really nice when that money comes in. Right. So you've got to stretch them. And I think that's where a lot of brokers, a lot of team leaders, they get a little lazy. They're like, well, Sarah's working hard. She said she doesn't want to make any more money. She says she doesn't want to make any more money because she's freaking burned out as hell, right? She would love to make more money, but what she would really love is probably make more money or the same amount of money and have a little bit of freedom back. So if you're not coaching them and showing them a path to do that, you're missing out. And I think that's where you and like Dennis Tuttle, like y'all do such a good job. I'm like, cool, you got your business kind of in place. Now at this level, let's talk about buying your investment properties. Let's talk about leverage. Let's talk about those kinds of things.
Well, Wayne, I love your opinion on this because I think what people are hearing from a lot of different sources, and I don't think we're saying it, but like they think they have to go from middle agent to team leader. They have to start a team. They have to do this. So how would you define leverage outside of starting a team, which I do not think is a good idea for a lot of people?
Please don't start a team. Please, dear Jesus, baby in a manger, don't start a team. Build a business. Build a business. Build a business. Don't start a team. And what a business is, hey, I now need support. I need leverage, I need whatever. And I'm going to hire people to do some of the parts of the job so that I can do my part better, right? Most people, what they do is they get maxed out. They hire a buyer's agent. If that buyer's agent is worth their sweat, right? They teach them how to do it and then they'll leave them. Or they teach them and they pay that person way too much money. Right. The thing you need to do and your first hire is probably a coach to make sure you don't screw up your first hire.
Sure.
But get in a coach, get in a room like E4 and E5 where we talk about what your business model and your org chart should look like. But your first hire is a coach. Your second hire is probably a great transaction coordinator that takes off 8-10 hours of your week by dealing with transactions. Then you're going to hire a great assistant, but you're going to hire employees and build a business. Do not go out there and build a team of volunteer army people and you're going to sink. The math doesn't work every time.
Yeah. Well, I think people join a team. And I think teams are a good starting point for a lot of new agents. I know I'm talking about both sides of my mouth, but because they have leads, they have structure, they have processes.
To go join one. Yeah.
Join one. But unless you're going to have leads, processes, systems, and support, don't start a team because I did it 20 years ago. I hired anybody and everybody because I thought bodies were better than production. And guess what? They sucked the life out of me. They wore me out. They made decisions that weren't smart. They had an ingrown toenail that day and they couldn't make their showings. Well, guess who had to go to the showings? Guess who had to show up to? It was the team leader. And all of a sudden, guess what? Your income will go down. So leverage is different than starting a team.
Yes. And I think it's different now than it was 5-10 years ago, the opportunities we can do. Like I have one of my clients, And her broker's best advice is, I hope she doesn't watch this. Her broker's best advice is just start giving deals away. Like that's the top of the mountain, right? Just give deals away. And I'm going, hell no. Let's get you some leverage, right? So now her leverage looks like, hey, I'm going to have someone that helps, a virtual assistant that's going to help with some of this social media content. She hired a runner that's going to help with a lot of the running stuff. And guess what? She's going to pay that runner $10,000, $20,000 a year instead of hiring a buyer's agent and giving away $200,000 a year in commission. I'm not saying buyer's agents are bad, but that's not yet. Let's maximize her and do the math before we go crazy. So I think that's the biggest thing. But you better, as a leader, as a brokerage owner, be able to say, and here's the next steps, right? You go this person, this person, this person, this. Here's the next things we need to build out and have a pathway to do that.
Yeah, no, 100%. So to kind of wrap it up, obviously new agents, they want leads, training, support. Middle agents, they want consistency, right? Not those big up and down, just, little ones. And then the experienced ones, they want freedom, right? And so how does that freedom come? So if you're a team leader or company owner and you're looking at recruiting season, these are things you need to be asking yourself about your own business. And can I supply this? Because guess what, guys, you may not be able to supply it to the upper end agents. You may not. And here's a little secret in my end. I don't want the top producing agents. I mean, I will talk to anybody. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, but I don't necessarily want them. It doesn't really fit into my schedule and the way that we do things. Yes, I will talk to them, but I really like that messy middle because they've proven they can be here. Although I'll take a brand new agent too. I'm not too good for that, but I want the people that I can go in and tweak it. And guess what? Everybody that joins us that's been in a different company have either doubled or tripled their business the next year. And it's not because we're some guru. It's just I was able to sit down and diagnose a couple of tweaks, put a couple people in there, a couple processes, but I had to know that. So what I've been trying to do is come up with a really good analogy, and I'll test it on you, Wayne. Recruiting season's out there, and so there's a lot of companies that their whole shtick is commission, and that's okay. If you're giving really high splits or caps, like you should, but also your support should equal what your cap is, and don't overpromise it. So agents shouldn't be surprised when they go to a capping company or something like that, and they're not getting, showing support and all this. No, you gave them 15 grand. You're welcome. That's what you should get.
Yeah.
So I look at my company as a personal trainer. You can go to Anytime Fitness, or you can go to, what's the purple one? You probably go
Planet
to that
Fitness.
one. Yeah, you go to that one. So you got Planet, I'm just kidding. You go to Planet Fitness, that it's 10 or 15 bucks and they make a killing, right? They're everywhere. But they're for people that have the motivation, that want to show up, but they probably don't get extreme results. Or you can go hire a personal trainer. It's going to cost you more. They're going to have a process. They're going to help you through problems, sores, aches, back problems, whatever it is. And you're going to get better results faster. It's just going to cost you more. This is depending on do you want results or do you want money? That's probably not the best way of putting it. So that's why I'm asking you for your advice to explain that.
I think it's good. You got to be able to differentiate yourself. And I think from this conversation is just even further clarity on, if you own a brokerage or team owners, you need to have 3 distinct offerings. Here's how I help this person. And just like you said, and here's the success they get. Here's how you better pour your heart out to your past self through videos, content, posts, whatever it is, of hey, when I was doing 1 to 10, here's what I wanted. Here's why we provide blank. Hey, when I was at this level, here's what I was struggling with. Here's what I needed. Here's what made me cry at night. Here's why we do blank for our agents. Hey, when you get to this level, screw all that. Here's what you need to help with. Here's what I struggle with, and here's how we help our agents win, just like Joe, who did blank. So it's 3 separate conversations in a lot of ways, tailored to that person, but 3 separate conversations, and you better be good at sharing what it is, and then exactly how you help your agents do it, which is great. And like you said, at the end of the day, though, the best inviter wins. Tell stories and invite like hell.
And the last thing I want to leave it with is you don't have to take everybody, right? Be selective. And I know it's hard when you're I need bodies, I need some sales. Guys, you're going to lose more business and time and energy bringing on the wrong people. So be wary of the people that say yes on the first date. That's a big no-no I've learned a long time ago. I had one do that and I was like, hold on, we just met 10 minutes ago. Yeah, I'm in. Let me join.
Easy come, easy go. Yes. Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully y'all got something out of this conversation, but I think it's something to really be thinking about as time slow down, really making sure your offering's there, or realizing that you don't have an offering. You need to figure that out before you start asking people to dance.
And if you're last thing I'll say is if you're struggling with this, get in the right room with people that have figured this out. So like when we do our quarterly masterminds, this is the kind of stuff we talk about. And I guarantee it'll save you a couple $100,000 and years of pain when you get in the room and you go, here's what I'm thinking about doing. And you get feedback and advice on that. So like these people have solved these problems. They're having the conversation. It's just up to you to get in the room to save yourself a whole lot of time and energy.
Yeah, absolutely. So leave us a comment, leave us your questions on like recruiting or what you think you should do or how you do it. We'd love to hear how that happens because, we're talking to a screen right now, but we want to be talking to y'all. So please drop us a comment so we can carry this conversation on.